Hey, I'm sorry to bother you guys. Do you guys know if Rick's still around?
Hey, is this Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny, this is
this
you?
Is Johnny?
Yeah.
From Bethel?
How long have you been on? How long have you been on?
For about, I just got on and off a few times. I'm kind of being followed right now.
Oh, wow. Well, we thought maybe there was something going on because, you know, we heard that with the elders or the people, the elders got a hold of you over there.
Yeah, they threatened
since you were on.
I have to leave. I told them I wanted to leave, and they told me that basically I can't.
That is weird because usually if they find someone that, you know, is like you know, we're kind of telling how things were. Yeah, they want to route.
They haven't found out who I am, that I'm the one telling things, but that's why right now I'm kind of trying to muffle my voice a little bit. But they threatened me and my family, so.
They threatened you and your family?
But they didn't know who you were, though? They didn't know who the caller was?
Nope, they had no idea who I was if I even called in the show, because I was in charge of this. I was in charge of this I was in charge of looking into this website, and I was in charge of looking into Rick. And so when it came my turn to look up, you know, when they updated and everything, I just looked and listened to myself basically, and you really couldn't tell it was me. So. But I did, because of the sister who was on, she gave me really great counsel, and Rick gave me great counsel, and some other ones gave me very good counsel, and they told me that maybe I have to leave, you know, and I told them that I expressed I told them I want to leave. I told them I want to go. You know, I want to hand in my resignation. I want to go, and they told me that I can't go. That from what I know and what I've done, I'm not allowed to leave, and that if I do leave, they said they'll
then
take
they knew it was
my family.
Hey,
really? Well, then they knew it was you, right? Then?
No, they still don't know it was me who's been on this show at all. But they're just saying that they can't let me leave because of all the things that I know being on the IT team. And they said that if weird things have been happening because of it. I've been in weird situations when it comes to the opposite sex that I've never been in before. A lot of sisters who usually in Bethelites in Bethel they call them the untouchable sisters because they were ones who say they're never going to get married. They've been throwing themselves basically at me left and right, and they've been in really weird situations, inviting me out to nightclubs and bars in Manhattan and stuff like that. And I don't know what's going. Like really, it's weird what's been going on. And they told me that if I were to leave, that they would scrutinize my family, especially my father and my brother. And my father and my brother are elders in their hall, so they have it like they're going to say that they're going to try to see what they can do, dig up anything to get my father and my brother out.
Your father and brother out of the organization, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. That's just sick.
So you're afraid they might slander your father and brother?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
that's just supposed to show.
It's a body
member. That's just supposed to show what you're dealing with. Go ahead.
It was a body member who did it and said it to me straight up to my face. We can't let you leave like this, knowing what you know and doing what you've done. We can't let you leave. So it's been very, very tough. It's very, very rough. I know I'm being followed everywhere I go. I know I'm being followed because everyone who wants to leave the IT team, you don't leave, basically. A lot of the guys who are there, they're what they call them Bethel lifers. They stay there forever, or they get moved around to another department, or they end up becoming what's being a new trend that if you live in the New York area, we call them now the New York Lost Boys. You know, they have nothing, they have nowhere to come back to, they have no skills or anything but what they came into Bethel with, so they stay in the New York, Brooklyn area. And they all live together, so it's getting tough. It's getting very tough. That's why I wasn't able to come on. But something
because you feel like you're being watched constantly.
Yeah.
You didn't have the freedom to even leave.
It's not.
Like go to a restaurant.
I go now 8 blocks out of my way to get privacy. You know, and I go into a place where I know I can see a Bethelite a mile away. So this is a very urban area right now that I'm in.
Wow.
So then if you leave Bethel and you go to a restaurant, you feel like you'll be followed? Like if you could have left.
I have been followed already twice. That I saw very straight up that they were Bethelites. There's no way to conceal it because I knew for a fact that no one was going to go. I left my room. I left my dormitory exactly at 2:30 in the morning, and I proceeded to go out because that's when I make a lot of my calls to brothers and sisters who are trying to help me out to get out, you know. And that's around the time that I use my calls and stuff like that. And once they already followed me out. Nobody's outside of Bethel around that time unless you're on the security team. And all of a sudden, there they are, walking right next to me, sitting down right next to me at a restaurant called C's Asian Restaurant.
Oh man!
Wow. It's bad. It's dangerous. It's disgusting. It's
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
Hey, Johnny, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Let's say.
Please forgive me if I seem to hang up quickly. It's because I don't know who's coming through the door.
Okay. All right. Now let's say if you left, okay?
Yeah.
Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. Let's say you left, and they went after your dad and your brother, and let's say they did get them put out of the organization. But what if you shared the information that you have with them? Do you think that they would think that you did the right thing?
No. I'm actually one of those few who I strongly believe that if I were to tell my parents, they would probably tell me that that's what Jehovah wanted me to do, and the body is right and everything and all that other stuff right now. And maybe later on they would agree with me, but for right now they won't.
I see.
Well, if they got dirt on your dad and your brother, and then they knew it was a lie.
But they can find dirt. Remember, I told you that they silenced, Brother Barr. They silenced Brother Barber towards the end of their lives. I don't know how, but they silenced these brothers. These brothers were the ones I told you who were outspoken against the snooping, And for some reason, I don't know how they do it, but I know for a fact that my brother and my father are squeaky clean. There's nothing to get them in trouble with,
Okay.
Okay. Well, if they did pin a bunch of crap on them, well, then you'd think that your brother and your father would then realize.
I think then they would realize. Yes, I think that would be they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So then.
We have.
Once they know they were accused, and then they were disfellowshipped or whatever for a false accusation.
And now with the flock book, there doesn't even have to be an accusation.
Yeah, I understand.
To the flock book, there doesn't even have to be an accusation. If they really want you, they don't even need to have no witnesses or anything anymore. The flock book is changed 350 degrees. It's done a 180. You could just say, hey, well, look what he did, and that's it.
I understand.
Okay? It could be anything. You could say, you stepped on my toe and it hurts. That's it. You're disfellowship.
Yeah.
The flock book is, I don't know who finalized the new flock book, but whoever does needs to get their head examined. It's bad. It's really bad. It's very, very, very bad.
Well, what would happen to your dad and brother if they did get disfellowship? What do you think would happen? Do you think
I think emotionally they would be torn up. I know emotionally they would be devastated.
Yeah, but
actually, it'd be doing them a favor, really.
Huh?
Yeah, because then they would listen to you, and then you'd see that you did the right thing.
I think after all the ashes fall and everything, and everything settles down, then I think they would listen to me. But I don't want them. My key thing is here, like I told everyone, I'm very old school Italian, and I protect my family above all else.
Gotcha.
And I when they told me this, it took everything in me to keep my Christian resolve and to not become, because I wasn't always in the truth. I left the truth. I grew up in the truth, but I left as a teenager, and I came back after being in the world, and I can't tell you how much it took me to not knock that body member on his backside. It took that much just for that. I'm like, are you really telling me that I can't go? Are you telling me that you're threatening my family? Then that's when we go. That's where we go too far. That's where we break ways. I'm like, that's where you go.
Well, I don't know how you could stand to live under that pressure. What you're doing, having to live there. It's like being in a rattlesnake den.
Well, Jonny,
I have a lot of things cooking in case anything happens to me or anything like that. So.
Okay. Hey, Jonny, there's another idea. You are your own person. You make your own decisions.
Yeah.
But there is a way that you can help your family and help others too, and that is, let's say you decide to stay there, but let's say you decide to start somehow sending out information that's a little bit more concrete, and people will start to realize what's going on. And I know it's a long shot, but you never know. Stuff might get back to your brother and dad, and they might start seeing what's going on and be more supportive of you.
Yeah.
Just
there was an idea back in the 70s. My father told me Bethelite, who was disfellowshipped by the body. He wasn't when the whole Brother Franz thing happened. They were thinking of, instead of having they were actually, they had the paper, they had the ink, they had everything. They were gonna have their own personal little like newsletters,
Yeah.
from inside Bethel, telling the brothers what's really going on behind the scenes.
Huh.
And when they found that out, they crushed it. But they had the paper; everything was ready. The articles were ready to go out. And it all got crushed in the 70s, and I think that would be a great idea now if we just had someone inside the writing department and somebody inside the printing department who had the gall to do it. We could print so much stuff and have it with people who would be able to do it, and then whoever does it just pass it on to the next person or just throw it away so it wouldn't go to the elders.
Yeah. It actually might be a way that you could cope, because not to say that you'd have to agree with their techniques because you stay there, but in a way that you'd realize that you could be working at things so that your family would understand as time goes on.